Salutations, all you masters of the mind-blowing out there, and welcome to More Than Meets the Eye, where we're uncovering the conspiracy fact the government doesn't want you to know about. As always, I'm your host, Alexander Sorkin, and this week we're looking at a story I first heard about while attending the Flat Earth Conference in 2018 that seems rather poignant as the billionaires of Earth race to get off this planet. Before we get into the story proper, I would just like to say that I am by no means a flat earther, though I have read up on it and formed my own opinion on it. One of my biggest problems with the flat earth theory is that most of the believers take the literal interpretation of the Bible and claim that there is a firmament, or solid barrier, above the earth and that we live in a self-contained bubble. But if that is the case, then the existence of extraterrestrial life would be all but impossible, since there isn't outer space as we know it. And you know me, I'm a firm believer in alien life. The flat earth? Billionaires in space? At this point, you're probably wondering what the hell I'm talking about and how all these things are related. Well, it comes down to one man, Wernher von Braun. Von Braun himself is quite an interesting character. He was a German-born aerospace engineer who began his career working in Nazi Germany's rocket program. During his time, he helped with the design and development of the V-2 rocket, the world's first long-range guided ballistic missile. But after the war, instead of being imprisoned or tried for war crimes, he was one of around 1,600 German scientists and engineers who were secretly brought over to the United States and given jobs. And just to be clear, none of this is conspiracy theory. This is all proven fact. Flash forward a few years, and the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA, is formed, and von Braun and his men are transferred from the military to NASA. Von Braun even managed to land himself in the role of director of NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama, and because of his work on the Saturn V rocket, he is partially to thank for putting man on the moon. Then, even later, he ended up becoming the Deputy Associate for Planning of NASA in Washington, D.C., before leaving NASA in 1972. So what does this Nazi-turned-American rocket scientist who died in 1977 have to do with the Bezos, Musk, Branson billionaire space race that we're currently seeing before us? It's actually quite simple. Von Braun predicted the outcome of this race all the way back in 1948, 11 years before mankind even set foot on the moon. During his free time, good old Wernher would like to write science fiction stories, and one of these stories was titled Project Mars, a Technical Tale. As you would expect from a name like that, and von Braun's history, much of it was exactly that, a technical story about how exactly humans would travel through the cosmos. One of the most interesting points of this story, and the moment you've all been waiting for, is the fact that in von Braun's story, once they get to Mars, they find an advanced race of humanoids already thriving there. Ruling them is a government of 10 men led by one they call, drumroll please, Elon. And there you go. 70-some years before I was even a target in our sights, this man, Wernher von Braun, called the winner of the billionaire space race. And despite my own opinions about the fact that billionaires are trying to get the hell off this rock while the rest of us burn, quite literally, that's some crazy shit. And it's not like the name Elon is even that common. When was the last time you heard it not referring to Mr. Musk? But that's all the time we have for this week, folks. Here's hoping that the billionaires let some of that space travel trickle down to us, and we're not left behind. But let's be honest, that's not gonna happen. Make sure to check out our Patreon link below, and remember, there's more than meets the eye.